Welcome, everyone, to episode 90 of the Let's Discuss Gaming podcast. I am your host, Triple J. Joining me is my co host, Dr. Games 101.
Hello there, people. How's everyone doing?
And we're going to do what we do what we do every 2 weeks, which is bring you the latest news in gaming. Dr. Games 101, I asked you, you never gave me an answer to this, so we could cover it or go over it if you want to. I did watch that video on the downfall of G4. Um, I don't know. I mean, we did cover when Frost got fired and G4 shut down. We did cover basically Frost killing the company, but we didn't cover other things that was shown in the video you showed me, like mismanagement of money and stuff like that. Do you still want to cover that, or
No, why
not?
not? We can still talk about it if you like. If you
I,
especially you watch the video yourself more than me. So if I
I
watch it
watched the whole
halfway,
video.
okay.
All right, so start, and then I'll give my thoughts.
Well, from what I can think of G4, it's more reminiscent of like a nostalgia more than an actual future near permanent product or project of sorts from these companies that run G4. So uh, I don't know what exactly happened exactly, but from what I could tell based on the video, it stated that had it not been for the Morrigan woman or Mori, her basically her name starts with M and it sounds like Maury or Morgan, something like that. And she dropped out of the G4T project um, back like 2019 when it was supposed to start in 2020. So that kind of threw off everything, and that's how Frost got in some way into the staffing of the shows and all. So having not been for her to drop out, the Morrigan woman, if I pronounce the name properly, that is, the G4T will not shut down so easily, so quickly. So having not been, like I said, just a wonder. Like she should have stayed put for a few more years, then somehow sway, Frost will kind of like be like denied access to that main line of the show. So
Right. Well, I do have to say, and you're probably not gonna agree with me on this, but I do think if Olivia Munn and Morgan Webb had come back for the G4 revival, I do think G4 would have had more of a chance to succeed because there would have been people who didn't care about the game that were just seen it, that were just been watching to either watch Olivia Munn or watch Morgan Webb. I have no problem admitting that there's a Let's Player on YouTube. She's actually, I'm watching her play the Batman games, but she's also a beautiful woman. She has the face cam on.
mm-hmm.
So, but now I do enjoy her Let's Plays. I do watch them like when I have nothing else to watch and like I'm eating and I want something on TV. I usually go to where I left off on her latest Let's Play. But, but the fact that she's such a beautiful woman is also a bonus. So I'm saying if they had gotten, and there were other people who thought Olivia Munn and Morgan Webb were attractive women. I think more people would have cared had those women come back and been part of the revival.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Now, Frosty the Snow Bitch, on the other hand, um, well, let's actually steer away from her for a minute because there is something else I brought up that I remember from the video that I want to cover, which was the mismanagement of money. Um, while getting streamers were a great idea on paper, it did not sound like a great idea in the checkbook.
mm-hmm.
They were paying streamers, I think, something like 15, 20,000. Maybe the top streamers were like 30,000 to come and be part of G4. Jared the Completionist was there. I think Xavier Woods from WWE was on a few episodes. Um, they're the only ones I know off the top of my head that were part of this G4 revival.
Yeah, it was Olivia Munn
And
that I mentioned. Sorry, I thought it was Morrigan, but it was Olivia Munn that you mentioned. That was the one that denied or turned down the offer. So
okay, well,
continue on.
yeah, and Morgan Webb was already. I think she works for like a video game developer or something. Um, but I know she didn't come back either.
Okay.
Um, but anyway, uh, yeah, the mismanagement of money. They got these streamers, and the thing is, they just did not. They just, more money going out than what was coming in from views on Twitch and views on YouTube. Of course, no business can sustain that forever. So, I mean, it's kind of like they should have had. They price talent. They bought talent they couldn't basically afford.
Yeah.
Or paid talent they couldn't afford, to thinking their fans would come over and become G4 fans.
Oh yeah.
Not so much, no. So whoever was managing the checkbook of G4 should never balance it. Should never be in charge of a budget again.
Especially if it's like a socialist Marxist background of that person handling that money.
Well, since we're getting in there, I forgot what woman. I think RGT85 interviewed her about the interview process. And one woman was asked, if you could cancel one superhero, what superhero would you cancel? And this woman was like, why would I want to cancel any superhero? And the interviewer was like, well, don't you want to cancel Batman because he's rich and he's white?
The fuck?
And yeah, that was a question that would according to this woman, that was a question that was asked in the interview process.
Oh wow.
Kind of easy to see where they got Frosty the Snow Bitch from. Anyway, but anyway, I wish they had interviewed me, and I wish they had said that to me, because I would have given them an answer that would have made them cry. But anyway, so the woman said, "Well, I guess I can see that," and she was playing along because she wanted to be part of G4. And they said, well, like, what other superhero besides Batman would you cancel? And she said, even though she liked the Punisher, she goes, the Punisher, because he's white and good looking. And the interview process was like, good job, good answer, we like that. Now, do you
employee for a while?
do you know? Now, like I said, if they had me in there and they had asked me what superhero I would have wanted to cancel. You know what? Let's do a little role play. You be G4's socialist white haters, and pretend you're interviewing me, and tell me and ask me that question that I told you about.
Like, oh my God, Triple J. Well, which superhero want to cancel, baby?
That's actually scary.
Like, totally, Triple J, totally.
I would, if I could cancel any superhero, I would cancel Shaft, because all he does is have a big gun and no other superpowers.
Oh,
Can you imagine? God. Can you imagine how the heads at G4 hiring would have exploded if I had answered that way?
Yeah, it's like, you're racist, Triple J. How could you? You're fired. Get out. Get out. No! And be like, and then if they don't kick me out right away, or they're telling me get out, can be like, well, can we cancel Blade instead? He's just a guy with the sword, especially Blade 3.
Hey, maybe I will have killed a few. Maybe I will have killed a few people off because I will have raised their blood pressure, because their heads would have exploded.
Funny, Triple J, funny.
But yeah, ever since I heard that interview with RGT85, when he was interviewing this woman, I would have been like, I wish they had answered me that question.
Yeah, I was wondering why I've been unemployed for quite some time over the years. Can't get anywhere because people like interfering with these type of people. It's ridiculous, man. It's business anymore. It's about pleasure. It's about fantasy. It's about like getting go for the fight the patriarchy, bro.
Yes. So I mean, so there was a third point brought up. I don't really remember what that point was. In the video, so I can't comment on that. But yeah, so I mean, they went after the wrong type of people, and they were spending more than they should have.
Oh yeah.
And you know what? Um, I do say maybe they should have, instead of getting like big Twitch streamers, maybe they should have gotten little Twitch streamers, and that they could have paid a lot less, and they could have helped build up those names. Because look at now, I could be wrong, but like I never heard of Olivia Munn or Morgan Webb before G4. The original G4 happened.
Right.
So who's to say G4 couldn't have built up their own talent and paid them less because they got their big break or big exposure on the revived G4?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's all I have to say about that. And now that G4 is dead and buried, we'll probably never talk about it again.
Yeah, it's pretty much so no more revivals, no more sequels to G4 or any former G4. It's all up to the original cast and what they want to do for themselves, in future projects from now on. It could have been a nice, project to last for a good 5 years, at most 10 years, if they did it the right way. You know.
Right? Yeah, they could have done that. But like I said, they were paying these people tens of thousands of dollars, even on the low end,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just they weren't getting the views through Twitch and through YouTube revenue to make that money back.
Mm-hmm.
And just like when WCW died in 2001, no one's going to fund a losing company just for the hell of it.
Unless you had to include that venture capital that started back in the late 2000s and into the 2010s, then that's a different story.
Right, but the thing is, I mean, look at gaming from 2000 to 2020. It's actually changed quite a bit. I'm not just talking about graphics or sound.
Mm-hmm.
In 2000 to, I'd say, 2006, 2007 at least, gaming was all about the most common systems out. PS2, GameCube, Wii, and then in 2006, the PS3 and the Xbox 360 came out. Um, I'm sorry, GameCube and original Xbox at the time, and PS2, and then it was PS3, 360, and the Wii. The
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo being off by a couple of years makes it a little confusing. Um, but the thing is, so like in '06, '07, no one really cared about, unless it was for those consoles, no one really cared about other games. No one cared about games from the past.
Yeah.
At least not on a huge scale. Maybe many niche people did, but the majority was all about the newest games coming out, the newest titles that were being anticipated. But then you see, like in 2010, 2011, 2012, that's when a lot of people start paying attention to retro games.
Oh, that's what I see
Um,
that now. Yeah.
so and then look at it today. Some people are sticking, like with me, are sticking with retro. Um, because they don't want to head towards an all digital future. It's kind of like YouTube content. In 2006, it was all about like do it yourself mostly. There was maybe one or two game reviewers on YouTube. Then, as you head like towards 2010, 2011, more people were doing game reviews. Everyone and their mother's doing game reviews, and then just a few years after that, like 2012, 2013, those people started transitioning into Let's Plays if they weren't doing Let's Plays already. And now you can find almost anyone doing Let's Plays.
Yeah, anyone can do it these days.
You don't see many people taking the time to do a review unless they got like a following on Patreon or something.
Yeah, especially if you have a following on YouTube at least that are consistent.
Yeah, so I mean, most people are doing Let's Plays because it's easier. You just record, you play, you upload. Um, which I don't blame them. That's what I do.
Same here for us since 2015.
So yeah, it's just like content's changing, but G4 should have succeeded, but they never did Let's Plays. They never did. I think that's where they really screwed up. They could have done Let's Plays. Hey, the people that they bring on make thousands of dollars themselves doing Let's Plays a year.
Or just cut it to like a 5-10% of the overall project at most. That's about it. For all.
Yeah, so I'm not saying they should. I'm not saying they should have been all Let's Plays. They still should have covered special gaming events because E3 was dead actually, but they could have covered other gaming events. Whether they be digital or
the
and then
game show, the Comic Cons. They're still around.
Yeah, all the gaming expos they're still going around. Maybe not in 2020 because that was the beginning of the pandemic, but they could have covered the digital events and then said from their home or wherever they were recording their feedback, what they thought about um, what was unveiled at any gaming convention.
Definitely.
But yeah, so but like I said, G4 after what they brought back, don't bring it back again.
Yeah. Well, leave it in the past. They have many other shows and series and other projects. It's good to revive some of them every now and then, like once every few decades, for the sake of like the new generation to understand what's like 30, 40, 50 years ago. Like that, if like say if the Nickelodeon shows, whatever, back in the 2000s, 1990s, and all those are good shows back for us as kids. But now look what's going
Right.
on today. They cut back a lot of bloat, they call it, which doesn't make any sense though, because you need Amazing World Gumball or whatever the newest Rugrats or the newest whatever for Nickelodeon, stuff like that, to make sure to maintain the competition between Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon. But
Yeah.
that's a different project, a different type of entertainment altogether. When it comes to gaming, though, it's endless. Though, when it comes to gaming, because you get different groups of people doing the same thing, but it just depends on who got the best talent, the best personalities, the best equipment. Sometimes, and G4 had the best equipment and all for that to happen, but they invest so much, like you said, onto these well mentioned people where what they could have done is give them a cut, say, hey, come back for like first couple episodes and see what happens, and then take it from there for other projects, other people on YouTube, give them chances and opportunities to be on G4 TV, like us, for example, maybe, or perhaps guys like who's it called, Camelot, perhaps guys like Review Tech USA can be a guest. Like doing interviews, stuff like that. Like us, like from mid tier to small tier, the YouTubers, YouTube gamers like us. You know,
Yeah.
that's perfect for like
Yeah.
a good opportunity for us to be on there.
Right. Exactly. Anything else to add, or ready to move on to our first story for tonight?
Yeah, let's move on for this matter. Just I want to say one
Okay.
more thing that it's a pleasure to see G4 TV. I never really saw G4 TV of its fullness when I was younger because I was busy studying a lot and not buying as much video games as I am now. Because back when I was like 17, 16, 15 years old, I was busy going to the library so often and studying other things other than video games, to play games and stuff like that. But when I have the chance, when I do go to GameStop at the time, it was called Funkoland, there was these TV shows that show on in the stores and all, and one of those G4 TV. So it's kind of like or the equivalency of that matter. And I know it's the best thing to go into the store for, but things have definitely changed since then. So it's all about the digital media, digital products, digital services, the live services. So let's see what happens for the next 15 years from now, at least 10 years from now, for what happens. Transition from G4 TV to whatever's coming out in the next 10 years or so. So that's all I got to say.
Okay. Moving to the first official story for tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Um, PTW, a support studio that's worked with Capcom and Blizzard, lays off 45 people.